Scotty's trying to bring us back to the Stanley Cup. What was it like being in? How many times have you now been in the presence of the Stanley Cup after yesterday, Scotty? Was it the Ice Palace there in North Charleston?
Well, yeah, it started at the Ice Palace in North Charleston, but I actually had the invite to the private party. So I took off the 10 and 11 last night and went to the actual party with the Cup last night. So it was pretty awesome. I was in 2018 when the Capitals won it. Jason Fitzsimmons, longtime Stingrays coach, was a scout with the Capitals. He got it for a day. And I just went there in like a working capacity. He lives in the next neighborhood over, and he had it out in his front yard, and they were just drinking beers and enjoying it. So I shot a little story, so I was in the presence of it then. Yesterday, Bednar brought it to the Ice Palace for 2.5 hours just to meet kids and whatever. Right. So I did that in a working capacity, but I went back to the party out on the Isle of Palms last night when they were a lot of beers deep, I'll tell you that much. And it was wild. It was awesome. I mean, it's the greatest trophy in all of sports to sit there and, and Betsy's he's got it for the day, and everyone was just so excited to be in the, the presence of the Cup, and a ton of drinks, ton of food. It was awesome. And I think the coolest thing is that, I think there's just an overall appreciation for hockey that, there were fans of the Devils and the Penguins and this, and Betsy is helping, them try to find their team from 91 that won the Cup and finding names on it. I think there's just this overall appreciation that's really, really special when the Stanley Cup is in your presence. And the keeper of the Cup, Phil Pritchard is there. That's the guy who follows it everywhere it goes since 1988. And, he's standing there on guard with the Cup. And at 10:30, the Cup has to go to bed. That's the number one rule. Cup goes to bed at 10:30. And, they pack it up. And like today, he jumped on a plane and flew from Charleston to Munich with the Stanley Cup. And it went to Quebec, to Chicago, to Columbus, to Charleston to Munich, to Prague, to Finland, Sweden, and then back to Western Canada. And then the 100 days for the Avalanche will be up, and, a new team will be fighting for the Stanley Cup.
So many things to get to here. All right, first of all, I don't know if I can ever take Jason's comments seriously. He weighs in and says, Beamer's video is not as cool as seeing Scott drive, talk, drink, and talk hockey. Scott is the ultimate cool dude.
Yeah.
Jason's suspended now for making comments on the show. Okay. Burying the lead. Did you drink beer out of the Stanley Cup or not, man?
I did not drink beer out of the cup. I drank beer I had the cup in my arm and a beer in my other arm. The picture is on my Instagram, but I did not drink out of the cup. There were probably 100 people there, and and Jared Bednar is the only one that's allowed to hold up the cup. He's the only one that's allowed to hold it up. So, I wasn't going to have him, pick up the cup and pour a drink into my mouth. It would have been kind of awkward in that setting to do that.
Wait a second. The coach of the Colorado Avalanche is the only one to, hold it above, waist level? What kind of weird – what are you telling me here is the only one to hold it up?
The person whose cup it is that day is the only one who's allowed to pick the cup up. Everybody else has to take. You can touch the cup, you could caress the cup, you could hug the cup, you could do whatever you want, but the only one that's allowed to actually hold it up is the person whose cup it is that day, and that's Jared Bednar.
What if you put a straw into the cup so you don't?
It would have been too tall for a straw. If you saw the picture, that was it was definitely well taller than me.
Tall guy.
Yeah.
But wait a second. So there was just a shrine. The Stanley Cup just stayed in one spot, and you weirdos just came by and caressed it the whole party. Is that what happened?
Well, Jared walked in with it. He walked in, held it up everywhere. When it came to a place, the keeper of the cup drives the cup there. He's got a rental car. He's got a regular old rental car, and in the trunk of the rental car sits the Stanley Cup. And then
wait a second. Case, I assume, in a case.
In a case, yes, in a case. And then he opens the case, and then Bedsy picks it up and holds it up. Yesterday, Bedsy took it out on his boat with like 5 of his like really close buddies that he played hockey with the Stingrays, and so they were on a golf cart driving around the Isle of Palms on a golf cart with the Stanley Cup on the golf cart yesterday. Brilliant. And then they rode the golf cart to he lives right by the restaurant that he rented out the restaurant. So they drove on a golf cart over to the restaurant with the Stanley Cup. Bedsy held up the Stanley Cup, and then and then placed it on a table, and they kept it on the table the whole party. So whoever wanted to have a moment with the cup could have a moment with the cup. And then Bedsy just, he mingled around and ate and drank and everything like that. And whoever wanted to take pictures with the cup, Bedsy came over, took pictures, whatever. You can take a picture, find your favorite player, your favorite team, whatever you want to do. And then, it was just like a regular party, but just like one of the guests at the party was Lord Stanley's cup that was just sitting in the corner of the party. It was amazing. It was awesome.
This is a tremendous breakdown. I got 3 more things before we move on and we actually start talking.
There's several rules. Okay. Number 1, only the person whose cup it is that day can hold it up. Number 2, goes to bed at 10:30. Number 3, you're not allowed to bring it in a swimming pool, and it cannot go to a strip club. Because I believe it was Mark Messier brought it to a strip club in like 87, and it did not go well. And then apparently, I think Mario Lemieux dropped it in a swimming pool, and it ended up sitting at the bottom of a swimming pool when the Penguins won it, and there was some definite issues with that. So, I think it's accumulated rules over the years, but for the most part, you've got free reign with the Stanley Cup when it's there at the party.
Okay, I need to know a few things here. I need to know 3 things. First of all, I asked about the case. What does the case look like if we ever see the Stanley Cup in some kind of luggage situation? Just a regular black case, silver case?
Black case, and they literally check it on the airplane. They pay the $50 and they check it on the airplane. They fly commercial wherever they go, and literally fly commercial and check it like any other bag.
So if you're listening to this, where are they going today? Did you say over in Europe?
Munich.
If you're listening to this in Germany right now, the Munich airport, you might see it on the luggage carousel at any moment.
Absolutely.
That's the weirdest thing ever. Secondly, no one drank out of the Stanley Cup last night?
At the party, nobody drank out of the Stanley Cup. During the day, he had it in his backyard and on the boat, and they were drinking it. And I know you're going to ask next. 14 Bud Lights fit in it.
That is 14 Bud Lights. I like how you could just go just Bud Lights.
Well, they were drinking Bud Lights.
No idea.
The exact words from Jared Bednar were 14 Bud Lights fit in it.
Okay, fair enough. My last one was, how is the protector of I think it's the best trophy in sports, but especially the hockey championship trophy, how is that protected by a guy who looks like he's been an accountant for at least 30 years and not much more of a real hockey guy who's at least missing a couple of teeth and was a former goon in the sport? I don't get it. Oh, I dropped out on you? Okay, I'll be happy to repeat because you guys are still holding strong with me. Can you hear me, or did that one drop out? I think hockey took us out of that one. I'll take you out real quick and try to pop you back in. Let's see if it's going to work. The technical difficulties rolling to ACC Media Days. Oh, much better angle now. What about you? You hear me now again?
Yep, I hear you. I lost you on the start of your last question, something about the keeper of the cup.
Yeah. How is the keeper of the cup a dude who looks like he's been an accountant for maybe 30 years or so, and not a hockey-looking dude with missing teeth and a guy who can clearly defend one of the best trophies, if not the best trophy in sports?
That's a good question.
He's a historian. I believe he's like the curator of the Hockey Hall of Fame, and that's where the Stanley Cup resides when it's not on the road for those 100 days. So he lives in Toronto, and he's like the curator of the Hockey Hall of Fame. He's a hockey historian, and then he brings the cup all around the world for 100 days every year.
Okay, I was very surprised. I did see the story. You can check it out. Eisberg WCIV is the Twitter handle there for Scotty, where he did the story on the Stanley Cup yesterday and talked to the guy who's in charge of the Stanley Cup. I was very surprised at what he had to say, first of all, and how he looked. A little disappointed that they don't have someone in full hockey sweater, like a Stanley Cup hockey sweater, and a guy who looks like he played hockey for at least 20 years protecting that man.
Well, you didn't recognize him yesterday because he was just in his golf shirt, but he's the guy that walks the cup onto the ice at the end of the final game every year. He's the one in the tuxedo that wears the white gloves. Every year, every Stanley Cup, he's the one that walks out onto the ice with the white gloves and the tuxedo. That's him.
I would think the NHL could then spring for another guy to be the muscle around protecting the cup, but I guess maybe that is also part of who you're handing it to, who gets to have it for the day, right? Might be unnecessary.
Yeah, it's crazy, man. It was it's a cool trophy. It's history, and as Jared said yesterday, he goes, "Man, my name's gonna be on."
Oh, the old technical difficulties. Jared Bednar, the coach of the Colorado Avalanche, former coach of the Charleston Stingrays, by the way, is why Scotty has the connection here. The name will be on the Stanley Cup forever. It is fantastic. And I think Mike Uva was talking about this from Gamecock Central the other day about the trophies and the whole thing. Cam Young just won the claret jug there for the British Open and said he's going to see how many beers fit in that. So I guess we need to break that down next. I think we got you through a bad patch there, Scotty. You were saying Jared Bednar is just saying that his name's going to be on the cup forever. Is that where he was yesterday for the?
I think he said 60 years.
60
as
years.
the rungs move up, I think your name ends up on there for about 60 years, and then I think they take the rung off and store it or wherever, put it in the Hall of Fame because the cup doesn't get bigger, but the rungs will eventually move up.
Help me out with the rungs. Is it just the coach's name on there? Is it the entire organization, players and coaches? How does that work?
Whole team. Man. Yep, the whole team. I think there's 30 names that go on the cup. So the whole team plus the coaches are all engraved in the Stanley Cup.